Hi everyone, and a warm and dry welcome from here in the UK to the Great British Mickey Waffle Live for today, which is Wednesday, the 5th of March 2025. And it's starting to feel a bit more spring-like. The sun has been shining today, and that means it's time for a new festival to start at Epcot Centre. Today, we will be taking a quick look at the news and then having a chat about the 2025 Epcot Flower and Garden Festival that started today. Let's grab a snack. There's going to be food. Grab a snack. Tell a friend and join us in the chat online. Welcome to the show.
Now my wheels in motion and my windows open with the wind blowing in my hair. I'm driving down the highway, gonna do this my way. I can feel it in the air. Here I
Hey everyone, it is March and the sun is most definitely shining over here. And it's time to think optimistically towards what is possibly my favourite festival of the year. And the fact it's spring and summer's on the horizon. And I can't wait.
I didn't tell you about the sunshine today, Claire.
I feel like you laugh. I'm like, and it's sun. And it's
I was a bit worried in your intro there. You said it's dry. I'm thinking, no, we can't go and do dry January again. Like,
no, that's right. Just like,
you had me worried.
No, it's the UK. We have to talk about the weather. To join me for this chat around the virtual table tonight, we've got Ben and John. Are you both okay?
Yeah, I'm glad it's Wednesday. I was sort of wishing it was Friday this morning, but especially with the sun out as well, it feels like it's just a time to celebrate outside. It's like I think I mentioned to John the other day. It's like we finally got through winter. We've got through January, got through February, which were January's always the longest month, and then February's the shortest. And now we're in March. It's like it's just
nearly. It just feels so spring-like, and it feels like today the sun has been shining. I've been at a meeting near the beach, and it's just been glorious. You know, sunshine.
I thought you were going to say meeting on the beach.
I wish. No, sadly not. But it's been a good day, and you know, long may it continue. I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have got so many friends in the chat already. Early doors, Megan Kirsch, nice to see you. Sorry that Robert's not well still.
Oh no.
Well, soon, Robert. We said that last week. We'll say it again.
Yeah.
Until we're feeling better.
Yeah. I must admit, Heather was the first in, and actually,
I know
Heather was in really early, and I was. You know,
Heather was here before we were.
We do prep for this show, and I was actually setting some of the things up, and Heather was already in the chat, and I thought that is ultimate. And that was about 12 minutes past 8. I'm very impressed, Heather.
Just making sure we're punctual.
I think that's exactly it. Yeah.
It's like tapping time. Come on, where are you?
Yeah.
And John Self is with us, but he is in Epcot at Flower and Garden, roving reporter.
I'm probably avoiding the rain.
It's raining there.
Yeah, which I'm sure he'll update us with that. That'll make us feel a little bit better about being in the UK a little bit, won't it?
Yeah.
Maybe it's raining in the UK pavilion because
that's extra theming.
Yeah. I'm sure.
I just have this vision of them people handing out umbrellas as you walk through the UK pavilion.
Well, that's I've seen Zach Brown do that before, but not in the UK pavilion. We're handing out, just dry clothing maybe.
Yeah.
As I said, Sean's with us for the second week running. Sean, is also always fun to have you here. Thank you for joining us. And Wendy is here. Nice to see you. And I'm assuming that might be Robin in the chat.
I think it will be.
Robin
after her she went for some massage yesterday.
She had some ridiculous
it just looked amazing. That's taking it to a different level. Love that. Hope you're well, Robin. Good to have you in the chat.
It's good, definitely, to have you here. And Sean said he would take a rainy day in Epcot.
Totally with you, Sean. I think that's exactly it. A rainy day in Epcot is better than any day in the UK.
See, I think that's another topic we should talk about at one point. If it was raining, where would you spend it in Disney?
Well,
yeah,
I was going to answer that, but that's a really good Good
That's
That's a
question.
good topic for another day.
That's a show. I'll see. Get my pen out. Hang on.
Post-it note time.
Yeah.
I think it is because actually
Might
I've
save
got
it for August when we're actually there in the afternoon rain.
there is a really
I've
good
got
answer to that.
There's lots of good answers to that.
Yeah.
Mostly like finishing with lounge.
This is what our Wednesday shows are all about. We share information, but we're also like thinking more ideas of what to talk about in future.
Yeah.
It's just a live planning session.
I'm also looking at in the chat as well. Robin and Simon are both now we're showing off. That's it. They're both here watching on the big screen. I love that. I love that whole
like having the big light on, you know.
Yes.
I love the whole thought about actually. I know Neil and Karen watch on the TV as well. It actually is. It is a thing. I'm
glad we don't stream in 4K. That's all I can say.
A big face on the TV screen.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It's not
a good thing. Oh my goodness! So we've got lots of people with us. If you haven't already shared the show out, please do. Ring the bell, thumbs up, do all the things that help us with the algorithm. That would be great. But so happy that you're with us, and we're going to be talking about so many things about food and wine, flower and garden, flower and wine, food and garden, all the same thing. But first of all, it's news time. Oh, I'd love that tune. One day I'm actually going to bring some paper. You can't see my hands, so there's no point. Paper.
I think we need. I'm going to get me a burgundy jacket or something. Just
Ron Burgundy.
I think that's got to be done. I know.
We have definitely got some news this week. It's actually quite a busy news week, but I picked out 3 quite contrasting stories. Ben, do you want to give us the Disneyland story?
Yeah, I was going to say, so this only dropped just a couple of hours ago, but we like to talk about popcorn buckets on this show. We've spoken about stuff that we collect that actually ends up on the shelf, like the popcorn bucket behind me, if you can see
Things that catch dust on the shelf.
And the things that you actually bring back with you and you think, actually, it's just been there for 2 years and never been used since. Mm-hmm. But this one will be coming back with us when we travel out there in May, and that is Death Star popcorn bucket.
I mean, that is pretty cool. Even I think that's quite cool. I mean, how you're going to pack that to bring it home, I have no idea.
I'm just glad we're going for 5. We're going for 5 days, but we've got full luggage, so we've got enough room.
Suppose you can put all your socks inside it or something on the way home.
I'm just thinking,
dirty laundry stuff inside it.
Oh, you're washing.
It's so cool. And what was the other thing? Was the other thing like a sipper?
It's a coaxium sipper. So if anyone who's been on Millennium Falcon Smuggler's Run, that's the thing you collect.
That's the thing you catch.
Yep.
Now
that is very cool,
isn't it? I'm actually thinking, Claire, how many of those can Ben actually fit in his suitcase?
I know. I'm not a massive Star Wars fan, but that is
I would have both of them. I'd have both of them.
The thing is, I think they're available from March 28th, but beginning of their Disneyland. So hopefully by the time we're there in May, they'll still be there. We're there around May the 4th, so I've got a list of places that
I see what you did there, Ben.
Yeah.
I want to see pictures of people with multiple like Death Star buckets hanging around them. They have them like hanging off their pushchairs and hanging off their neck and everything. Yeah. Just one of those comedy like zorbing balls or something, just be surrounded or like a solar system.
That's just like one of those things on like Gladiators.
Yeah.
I'm just worried though, for every person you see like that in March, how many messages Ben will be actually sharing with them. It's like, make sure there's one left for when I get out.
I hope so.
They're going to be really cumbersome. I can just imagine so many kids getting twatted around the head with them still walking through the park. Well, they're going to get swung.
Are you allowed to say that? I used to get into trouble for using that word.
You're allowed. Yes, I did. It's too late to worry about it.
Yeah. If anyone realises on the podcast this episode is labelled as explicit, we'll know why.
Yeah, it's my fault. I'm good with that. It's fine.
I'm absolutely fine. Goodness. But quick language, it means hit. For those who are wondering. Yeah.
It does.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so amazing popcorn bucket news. Because it seems to be a bit of a common theme, we have some permit news, people.
Yay!
More permits.
More permits. So this is a follow-up to the permit news that I shared maybe on our first news segment, and that is that the Zootopia, my favourite name of any attraction,
Better Zootopia.
the commencement of construction permit has been filed, so they have started changing the inside of the Tree of Life. So that is all on track for delivery later this year, where we can all go and see Better Zootopia.
Yeah. I think they might need a new
It's
name.
awful. It's really bad. Does everyone agree with me? I mean, I have a real hatred of that.
I think it's not just that; it just doesn't roll off the tongue. It's not. It just doesn't. Yeah. It's
it just doesn't.
Poor.
You can do better than that, and actually, this seems to be a recurring theme, doesn't it? You know,
you could do better.
You can do better, and I think that's.
That's a good segue to the third and final news story this week. Thank you very much for setting that up nicely. So just today, there has been some photographs shared online of the amazing new flooring job they've done in the Emporium.
And the refurb of it, I looked at it, I just thought, no, I'm not going to dive in. I'm going to remain positive. I'm not going to jump in on Twitter. I'm not going to criticize it in any way, shape, or form. And then an hour ago, I actually found that I didn't need to, because former Imagineer Jim Shull has actually done it for me, because his actual description of it is actually so on the ball.
It's just a work in progress. That's literally.
But that's a finished article, and I just
that can't possibly be the finished article.
That can't be.
That can't be. They must be going to put some.
Here we go, Jim Shull, and I'll quote this exactly, because actually I think this is a really good take on exactly what this is. So, hashtag Magic Kingdom remodeled store is hashtag Disney serving guest poop and calling it chocolate. When I was an Imagineer, if I had pitched this, I'd be fired. Disgraceful design done on the cheap. We're with you, Jim. And actually,
that's fairly brutal.
Coming from an actual former Imagineer, it's just like, But when you look at some of the details and some of the pictures, the change in the actual flooring as you come out of Emporium and into Casey's, the tiling between the two is so. If you're into flooring in any way, shape, or form, it is just hideously at the wrong angles. Everything just doesn't fit, because it's just not been thought through. It's just not had that little ounce of magic.
It just looks like there's no love involved in that.
No.
I mean, like for me, and I don't know about you guys, but the Emporium is like the flagship store of Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
It's got a story that runs through it from front to back, and it's it's so characteristic. And you can, like, if you've ever been on Keys of the Kingdom, they talk you through that whole thing. And it's,
if you compare it to like other places in Walt Disney World, so when you look at creations and you actually look when you walk through that, it's impressive. There's so much stuff going on. That you're actually not worried about the floor. There's so much floor space there that it doesn't make sense. It looks like it's like an Argos. It's like a warehouse. So it's like you go to the side to pick up the stuff you've ordered. No, it doesn't look like a shop. It doesn't have that feel that you get when walking down Main Street. I don't think it's finished. It can't be.
It can't possibly be finished, but it just looks appalling. And I'm concerned that the tiles are going to be slippy in the rain.
And I wonder whether it's open because of crowds. So when it's busy, that actually, if they were to close and do some more refurbishment to it, you want people to.
You haven't been able to. Yeah, you haven't been able to walk through the Emporium from front to back for several weeks. Actually, you've had to walk up Main Street. They've shut that back entrance. So, it may be that they've just rushed it to try and get that entrance open for when there is surge time.
Because you've got spring break now, so it's
maybe it just looks, well, I can't say the word I want to say because then we will be marked as but you can all imagine the word that I want to say. It's just
I think Ben had the best description, because we actually, again, we do prep for the show, I hasten to add. But Ben, go on, your line was exactly the right one. I think
that shot. The Emporium has less warmth. There's more warmth in Walmart than there is in the Emporium.
Yeah, And that sums it up for me.
Yeah.
And actually, I actually
Yeah.
feel that
It's not good.
again. I know we keep coming back to this week on week, and I'm sure when we walk in there, we'll say, "Oh, it looks really nice" and stuff like that. But week by week, we're getting little examples of how the detail and the magic is being
away.
Yeah. And again, I'll even go back to social media. I think from last night or early this morning, where they show you parts of Epic Universe with a big load of fountains, and the fountains look absolutely magnificent, and everyone's piled in on that. And it's just like, I'm guessing Disney didn't quite understand the whole purpose of how a fountain at the focal point of a theme park becomes a really good meeting place. And you're just like, Universal are actually mocking it again. And I just think this is,
the positive news from all the team member experiences so far, and the use of everything. I had a look on the app, because you can now go on the Universal app and actually go around the park. So you can click on each attraction. That's gives you things like the heights. But I think at least 7 or 8 attractions have got single rider queues.
Okay.
So I'm quite impressed with what they're doing. That's going to be quite good. But who knows what's going to happen between now and I think Disney are going to just go, this is Universal's year. Let's just, whatever happens.
Let's just suck it up and go with it. Yeah.
Let's do everything on the cheap.
If they keep chipping away at stuff, the Keys to the Kingdom tour is going to be 2 hours, not 5 hours, because they'll be
but they're still charging $120.
It's still a good bargain. Yeah. Okay, so that's this week's news. A varied bag of information. Let's talk about the Flower and Garden Festival. So, have we all been to Flower and Garden?
Yes, it's
John. Have you been?
I've never been, because it falls exactly at the wrong time of year for
anyone who works in school.
and that's the unfortunate bit. And the one thing that does come across loud and clear is the fact that I actually feel this is the flagship, and this is the one that it's the one I'd really love to go and see the most. Really
and I think we said at the beginning. It opens today, and it sees Epcot adorned with the very best in bush trimming and topiaries and displays. And I think John, why are you putting a face?
Not at all. I like a trimmed bush.
And I think that there's so many things that happen during Flower and Garden. It isn't just like food and wine. It's about the food and the wine, but there's there's not that much else going on. Whereas Flower and Garden, there is so many things, and I think that it's quite interesting this year. Communal Hall, the lunch hall, has been within it has got a really interesting sort of display about how some of the topiaries are created, and there's got a bit of an annotation as to what's going on.
I'm just glad they're finally using Communal Hall for what its purpose was. Like we spoke about Festival of the Arts back in January, and it's like it's finally being used. It's not just like a school canteen.
Yeah. So I think there's lots of interesting things in there this year, which is quite good. But the topiaries, they've added some really cool stuff. And I think for me, number one is the Phineas and Ferb topiary. I will be heading to see that as soon as possible when we get there.
It was the Moana one, the one that's at the front.
Yeah,
I've seen the video of because
that looks amazing.
That all lights. That's the one. It looks incredible.
It does look amazing. It lights up, doesn't it? And it's got it's so cool.
And it's difficult to see on that picture, but if you look on top of Pua's head, you can see Hey Hey.
Okay, is that where chickens tend to hang out?
Apparently so.
Okay. But they've got some interesting things. They've got Mickey, Minnie, Pluto, Chip and Dale and World Celebration. They've redone Tinkerbell's Fairy Garden, which tends to be in the UK, and that's always awesome because it has little fairy houses and I love that one. Simba and his friends are in World Nature.
Yeah.
And then Pooh and Friends, as usual, are over in the UK. Goofy, the one where Goofy's like blowing I think it's like a dandelion clock, like they're bending over. So that's over in World Nature as well.
And then what I love about the topiaries is when you go like this time of the year in March, it's different to when you go there in like
That's
April
the
or
thing.
May
Yeah,
because it
they
changes.
change.
Yeah.
And because I remember once, I think it was in 2022, we went, it was like mid-May, and then we went right at the very end of the festival, and it felt completely different.
This is it. And I think, so it blows my mind to think that they build and they look out, they tend to these things all the way through the year, and they all get wheeled out over the course of a few days. And I mean, the groundsmen, the guys and girls who work behind the scenes developing these things, they're amazing. And it really brings the whole park to life, and you can just wander around looking at the amazing topiaries that are there, and you don't have to go and buy food, you don't have to go and do any attractions. There's so much to see just within the body of the park, which I think is such a different approach sometimes, and probably how Epcot feels most alive.
Yeah, and
sense?
Because it actually encapsulates the whole living with the land part of it as well, doesn't it?
Oh, so have you seen what they've added in Living with the Land?
No.
So they've put in like an Alice in Wonderland theme, and they put like a tea party in the middle of some of it and stuff. I saw a video of it earlier. Wow. It looks super cool.
Oh, that's
in a similar way to they do the Christmas overlay. They've added some. They've added some.
Oh, that's lovely. I like that.
Yeah,
I hadn't realised they'd done that this year. That for me is something different. What I have seen is the fact that over the past few days, everyone, the minute you start mentioning about Living with the Land, and everyone's been posting front row video of this is the greatest 20 minutes of your life as you get
really.
Yeah, I just think it's got so much love.
It's an underrated attraction. It really is.
But again, it really shows that this festival runs alongside that, and actually it's the true roots of exactly what Epcot's about, and that's why I think Flower and Garden just fits in absolutely beautifully with the whole, not just the theme of Epcot, but that whole educational part of it, and the whole bit about actually encouraging people to go and to
learn,
grow stuff of your own, things like that. And I just think it's just perfect. It's a perfect way of actually utilizing the theme park for that.
I mean, I think some of the other topiaries that I've seen that look amazing. There is a grouped one which is near Connections Cafe towards. So while you're standing in the enormous line to get over to Cosmic Rewind, you can see the group topia.
I'm interested to see how long that queue goes this weekend. Last weekend it was 3.5 hours was the peak line, but it's one of those. Maybe
people will be off doing other things this weekend. I don't know. And then the Tiana topiary that's over in the American Adventure also is pretty special. It looks really big. It might not be when you're there, but I think there's some really cool stuff like Miguel and Dante over in Mexico. They seem to have added an awful lot of topiaries that perhaps haven't been quite so large or not quite so focused this year. It looks really cool. They've got they've also brought back the tea garden in the UK, so all the different flowers that contribute to different tea blends.
Can I just add, I've just done a little bit of on-the-spot research here.
Ooh.
So for anyone who's wondering, the queue for Guardians, I think we should have this as a weekly feature.
We can do Banana Watch and we can do Guardians Watch.
That'd be cool, wouldn't it? Yeah, 90 minutes is the current standby.
Okay.
Queue.
So what time is it?
I have to admit, it's such a good ride. I probably would wait in that.
Would you?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if I'd wait 90 minutes.
I would. I would. Actually,
I've had all 6 songs, so I don't.
If it's raining, and I haven't had all 6 songs, so.
Yeah, I did see Megan tagged me in something online that someone managed. I think they managed to do 4 songs in a day, and we're putting it up on. So I know that last week we talked about the new challenge would be to try and get all 6 songs in one day. Now you can repeat write it, and I've seen someone. I think they got 4. So you've got to be prepared to do absolutely nothing else other than stand in line. There will be people who do it. I'm sure they
I'm pretty sure though they actually went into the park with about 4 different power banks. Just to keep the phone going, because you'd be absolutely bored.
That's all you're doing,
wouldn't you?
I'll tell you what. My top tip is the queue for Guardians. Pokemon Go is a blast in that queue.
Yeah.
It's really good. There are
I
a
love
lot
the
of
queue because it's
Pokemon.
air conditioned as well.
Yeah. So other things that are happening during the Flower and Garden, inside, around the gardens that are around the World Showcase, Spike, who is the Buzzy Bumblebee, he has a pollination tour. So you can buy a map at the participating outlets where you get a sticker in each of the gardens. The map's like $9.95 plus tax.
Yeah.
And it looks really cool. And Spike is there to tell you about each of the gardens as you go around, not in person, obviously, but little posters and stuff, which is fun for kids to help them engage. You know, it's all, you know, when you have like the food trails and stuff like that, it's designed to help the kids look at what they're, you know, be interested in what they're looking at. And I think there's an Easter egg hunt as well, which is fine at the moment. I'm not sure what they're going to do after Easter.
It normally just stops, if I remember.
Do they just disappear after Easter? Okay.
Yeah. It's there for like the week of Easter and the week after, and that's usually it.
And then the Butterfly Garden is back near the Land Pavilion, between the Land and Imagination Pavilion. That garden bit that looks a bit weird when the Butterfly Garden isn't there these days. So it looks a bit odd. But yeah, so the garden, the butterflies are back. And last year it seemed to be bigger, the Butterfly Garden. I don't know if it was.
We've never actually had a chance to go in there, I don't think.
I've spent ages in there.
Yeah.
Like, happily just watching them. But, you know, there's other things to do as well. There's loads of like kids' play areas this year as well. That bit, as you walk from Imagination Pavilion over towards Port Ventry, there's some games and stuff going on there. There's a bit outside Connections and Creations. And then there's a special version of the Beacons of Magic, which is
Beacons of Magic.
Beacons of Magic on Spaceship Earth. There's a different version of that for the festival as well. So
lovely.
That's always fun.
Yeah.
I know we did talk about the Garden Rock series. A couple of weeks ago.
A few of them still to be confirmed, weren't they? A few weeks ago.
Yeah. So
you sound disappointed already. I've got to say, what's really interesting, I'm just looking through the list now, and you actually know that, you know, there's a few that is actually, even in March, is really interesting, because you've got the likes of Air Supply, Rich Springfield, Herman's Hermits, starring Peter Noon, but then you've also got Jason Chef, and he said, long-time lead vocalist of Chicago. Just in case you didn't realise who he was.
In case you didn't know who he was. It has to be an explanation.
Yeah, and then Queensryche. That's
the new one. So that's the one that they put in the TBC, which we were
kind. That would be really interesting. Flock of Seagulls, April 20th and 21st.
Yeah, missed them by a few
that
days.
is a must do that. I would get on a plane and go in just for that, because actually that'd be worth it. And Taylor Dane.
Is that Tell It to My Heart fame?
Yeah, and that'd be about the only song that you'd probably know.
That always happens.
She'd kind of play the 10-minute version, I would imagine, you know.
I like the song though. I'd go and watch it just for that, I think, to be fair.
Yeah, was it John Cicada in May? Was it Wait Another Day? Pointer Sisters, the Spinners.
The Pointer Sisters would be awesome to see. I mean, they must be like collectively 470 by now. But I would totally go and see them.
Yeah, and there's like even Don Felder, who's formerly of the Eagles.
I mean, these are all incredible musicians. And I'm just going to point out that Robin and Simon, we have mentioned this a couple of times, and I think that you obviously haven't been with us on the show when we've talked about it, that no Starship. And I was really hoping that TBC that was only filled in a couple of weeks ago was going to be Starship, but no.
Does that mean I can get the gag out again this week about something seemingly did stop them now?
Yeah, roll it out again.
Yeah, it's just like...
but you know, this is the first time that Starship haven't played for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
But you know, it's not to be this year. Maybe they'll be there for the food and wine later in the year, and we can all go and see them. That would be good.
That'd be a different one as well.
Wendy's excited.
Good. Yeah, I think that's exactly it. I think it's just that type of thing that I actually think this gives a completely different spin on things within Epcot, and I just love the fact they've got so much music involved as well. So it doesn't become, and this is the difference between food and wine, because it actually the focus is very much on the entertainment, and it's on the visual side of it and the arts, which again flows nicely after Festival of the Arts. Rather than it just being about people going around the world and getting trolleyed. I think is probably the best way to describe it. You know?
That's such a good British thing. You can use any word at all.
Any word,
any word at all, and
that's like a Michael McIntyre.
It is. You can use anything. You can like getting completely basketed, and it still means getting drunk. You can
use it absolutely gazeboed.
Totally. They all work. It's such a British thing. You can totally any sort of words and make it into a verb. Those the Garden Rocks series. So there are 3 shows a day for each of those. So 5:30, 6:45, and 8 p.m. So I think that there's ample opportunity to catch Pointer Sisters. Hopefully they haven't gone to bed by the 8 o'clock show. They might need a little lie down in between the second and third.
I hadn't realised that they actually were doing 3 sets. So that could actually,
it's a huge.
That is such
they're only doing a couple of days each, I think, probably. I genuinely don't know how old they are. But
talk about working them hard, like
I know they're getting paid well for that. And of course there is the Garden Rocks dining packages. So I had a quick look at those, and you can get, at one end of the scale you can do the Regal Eagle, which actually the food at Regal Eagle I understand is really, really good, and it always smells amazing. Although when the smokers go in, it does kind of overpower the whole outdoors area. But I've only heard good things about the food at Regal Eagle.
We did the was it the Candlelight Processional as the dining package with Regal Eagle, and it was like $45 each, something around that.
So it's only $36 for adults.
It wasn't particularly.
And that's a same day dining package only, so you can only do it when you get there. But the dining packages go right up to $99 for the Cellier. Which is
that's such a difference, though, isn't it? Because if you're on a budget and you're looking at $36, I think is really good value. Because even if you look at the Rose and Crown, it's $61. But that is a massive difference, isn't it?
It is. That's per person. So that you talk $33 per $63 per person difference. And there's everything in between. So like you can go to the creperie for $51. I think I'd go to Regal Eagle, and I don't eat meat.
I think we worked it out. It's about $10 on top of the price of what you'd have eaten. I think anything actually $10 gives you that.
So that's a massive saving.
I mean, Via Napoli is 63. Rose and Crown dining room 61.
I have to agree with Hannah. If you're like me, you're cheap. You pay for a quick.
I never pay for the
stand and listen for free at the back.
I'm with you, Hannah. That's my way of doing it.
Or just get in the line, get some food and go stand in the line and get a seat. I think I'm not sure that I would pay $82 for the Hacienda de San Angel.
No,
and I love Hacienda de San Angel. I would go and see the show at 6:30. And then go and have dinner there and watch the fireworks from the windows.
That's a good idea.
That's what my top tip.
Yes, I think that's a lovely way of doing it.
I think there's plenty of other food at that point in time as well. So I don't, those restaurants are amazing. Some of them are better than others, obviously.
I think if you're planning to go to the restaurant anyway and you want to do that, it sort of makes sense to do it.
But then,
if it's not on your list, but then also by having a big meal or having something different, actually you're going to
miss out on all the other stuff. And there is a lot of other stuff. And is there anything we want to talk about before we get to the food? And drink.
We've kept people waiting. We've kept people waiting and things like that.
I wanted to highlight the fact that the Flower and Garden Festival isn't just about the food booths, the outdoor kitchens, and I think that there are obviously less of the food booths than there would be in Food and Wine, and they're different in terms of approach. And some of them have got like a staged menu, so they have like a spring menu, an early spring menu, a late spring menu, and a summer menu. And I think that you know, there is a difference in terms of the type of food that they're offering. Whereas I think food and wine tends to be like hit you around the face, super strong drinks. This is like all the pizzazz and the glitter and everything of look at the food we can do. Whereas I think the Flower and Garden outdoor kitchens are a little bit more refined. They're a bit more considered. They utilize produce in a really innovative way, which I don't think that that's just my personal view, you know. And there are some massive highlights this year. There's new food things coming this year, which I thought it'd be quite nice to talk about. Some of them are returning from previous years. There is something I want to talk about. Sorry, I'm going to put my hand up. I'm like, at school, can I talk about this, please? And Robin, I'm just going to bring these up because I know that they're going to be on your list. How cute are these?
Oh, wow.
They are totally coming home with me.
Okay.
No,
they are amazing.
I don't know. Has anyone seen the trash can? There's an orange bird trash can.
No.
It looks amazing. It's just the perfect place to go and eat some food.
Yeah. I love that Orange Bird is the character attached to Flower and Garden. I'm not sure I'd wear a bright orange.
I'm not sure about that. People might mistake you for the trash can and then start eating on top of you.
It's an awful lot of orange.
Yeah.
I think, you know, there are things.
I tell you what, Claire, though, by the time we all go in August, they'll all be in the outlet stores. That's it.
It'll still be a lot of orange.
It would be perfect for Halloween. We'll get going for Halloween.
Yeah, it would. Yeah. I do quite like this. I will be getting one of them.
That is nice
because it's so cute. So yeah, that looks like it's in Creations.
Yeah.
I will be purchasing one of those most definitely with my discount. And so I like those a lot. So there is merch out there. It looks interesting. There's a couple of really cool lounge flies. There's loads of pins. We'll try and get some photos when we're there.
Yeah, I think as well, and this is perhaps what Epcot does very well too is when you actually get to these festivals, the actual limited edition merch is quite something to behold. I even going back to last summer with the food and wine, some of the offerings that you actually see, what I would say is if you're there, buy it when you see it, because actually you never know what sells and what doesn't, what will make it to the outlets. And if you've got your heart set on something, you don't know whether it'll be there next week. So, from past experience, if you see something, just buy it, because it's.
I think, Creations obviously got a slight inside on Creations.
Yeah.
They do get stock delivered almost every single day. So if you're there a couple of days on the trot and you want to get something and they had sold out, go early in the morning to Creations, stick it in a locker, and then enjoy your day. But they do get new stock pretty much every day. It's very rare that they sell out permanently until about a third of the way through the festival. So, but yeah, okay, we've waited long enough. Let's talk about food. Let's talk about food, baby. Let's talk about you. Intrusive thought moments from Claire.
When you walk into the park, do you always grab one of the booklets so you can see and start?
I grab a handful because I want to have one that I can use. I want to have one in my bag that for when I forget where I put the one that I'm using. I want to have one where I can use the stickers, and I want to have one that I can bring home to give to Anna.
That's completely untouched. Yeah.
And then I need an extra one for when it rains, and I want one that's dry. So I usually pick up 4, maybe 5 of them. Okay. And then as I'm leaving to go home, I will always pick up an extra one just in case.
Yeah.
I
am like all the trees. The irony of all the trees that are involved in producing those booklets at the Flower Garden Festival. But yeah, I tend to pick up many of them, and I've got them now from the last few years and keep them. Not quite to the same extent as Terry and her park maps being filed in a box file year on year, but
But I think
they're free souvenirs.
It's part of it. It goes back to what we talked about last week, and I actually think that's really important that you do it. Yeah.
And they are cool because you can go and grab a drink, and you can. I have been known to go into the park and find somewhere to sit with a beverage and a highlighter and go through it and pick out the things that I want to try. I mean, there is the app, the Food and Wine. Is it called Food and Wine? The app.
It's a Food and Wine app, but
and Megan was the person who introduced us to that. Thank you very much, Megan. The app that's Food and Wine, and you can pick the festival, and it has got all the stuff, and you can tick off the things that you're interested in within the app, and then you can bring them up as a list. So I'll be doing.
I just love that on the app people can leave reviews and pick their own pictures. So actually, what Disney say this item's going to look like, and what actually served on the small paper plate isn't always the same.
Yeah, it's like reality.
Yeah. And you know, the photos that we have tonight are from Disney Food Blog, so to give them credit, they've been really good at putting photos up. And I think that some of the food looks great, some not so great. So we've also a bit like the flooring in the Emporium. Some could have done better.
Maybe same
people
designer,
same material. So one of the things now, people who watch this show or listen to this show regularly will know how much I love avocado. But I know people have a thing about avocado, and the avocado toast at Brunchcot, I thought, actually,
I love the name Brunchcot.
Yeah,
it's really beautiful. I mean, they've got that piece of sourdough, and then it's got the avocado, and then it's got some like shaved radish and flowers and tomato. It just looks beautiful if you like avocado. I'm quite happy to look at it.
Yep.
I'm not going to eat it.
Looks good on a picture.
It really does. It's very much an Instagram, and I think that's Disney have cottoned, the chefs that create these things have cottoned on that they're going on social media, so we need to make them look pretty, people. So gone are the brown paper trays that they used to come in, and they're now on these white cardboard plates, so that you get the contrast of the colours against the white. And there has been an upgrade in terms of how can we make these look pretty? Definitely.
I think one of the funniest ones as well. If you've never heard Kevin Bridges as a comedian, do check out. If you put a search on YouTube, I'm sure his avocado joke it'll be on there somewhere. We can't buy avocados without slipping into Kevin Bridges mode. It's one of them real crazy things that happens when you go into the supermarket. So.
This is it. There are things. So the avocado toast, it's made with marinated tomatoes, plant-based cheese crumbles on toasted shea butter. It is a plant-based item, so it's good for the vegans in the family, and is $6.25, which I don't think's that bad, to be honest with you.
Pricing, that's not bad.
It's a bit difficult to tell how big that.
That's what I was about to say, because actually
it might be like a crostini, and it's a tiny little thing.
And just like less than the size of a Disney pen. So I think is that the scale we're going to work on? I think that's what we have to go for, isn't it? Exactly.
John, you've just reminded me. So this is like a completely random debate. I am a member of a Facebook group which is called Americans Will Use Anything to Judge Size, and it's basically where people in America have used things like a pen and gone, look at the size of X, Y, Z, and they put a pen next to it for size comparison, or a quarter, or whatever it is. So that's how we're going to measure things. How does it compare to a Disney pen?
Okay. I think that's exactly it, isn't it?
It's a very funny.
But it's true though, because if we're talking about a sizable bit of sourdough bread, then it could be quite a nice treat for your $6 out there.
But that's the thing, is like some of these are they shareable with some of these items, or some of these going to be that's just for me on my own?
So I think this one is probably shareable. And this is again, it's from Brunchcot. It's the fried cinnamon roll bites with cream cheese frosting and candied bacon.
Oh, that sounds nice.
So this is for you and two of your friends, or
just for yourself.
Or if I'm feeling extra hungry.
Yeah.
That looks lovely. That really does.
It does look shareable. It really does.
Again, it's quite hard to tell how big. I mean, I don't think it's massive, but it does look like they would be quite greasy and filling. All in one go. and sugary.
Yep.
It's going to go everywhere, isn't it? It's going to go all over your
Yeah.
face, which is, it's maybe a good thing. It may not. I think it probably attracts lots of wasps and stuff. My pick from the brunch cot is this, funnily enough, which is
now we're talking.
Megan, I'm with you on this. Peach Bellini, so it's sparkling wine and peach puree. It may just have been sitting for a little while, but I think it looks beautiful.
I was going to say, it does look like it needs a bit of a stir.
Yeah, maybe. I just think it's simple. You can't really go wrong with the Bellini, and that looks like a good. But that is $11.50.
Oh,
so
okay.
it needs to be good for that price.
Hang on, I'm
It's
just
nearly cost of two.
just checking whether that if you look
Every
at
photo that I take when I'm there is
Yeah.
going to have a pen.
but
Disney pen.
if you look at someone's hand there, that actually looks it's quite it doesn't look the
It should
biggest
be a
big
fine,
glasses, does
yeah.
it? You know, so
Should be the 125 mil. I would have thought the same that you would normally get.
not enough. So it's not. So it's
Or
not.
was it
a
11.50?
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah.
Mm.
I'd be going for the 12-ounce beers rather than them.
What else did I pick out that I thought looked interesting? Oh, Connections Cafe.
Yeah.
I thought they've got some special items, and I thought, Ben, this looked right up your street.
Ooh.
This is the hot honey spiced chicken sandwich with pickles and slaw. And I looked at that and I was like, someone who, a big fried chicken sandwich, this looks like something that Ben might.
I'd remove the pickles, but other than that looks good.
Yeah, no, everyone would remove the pickles, wouldn't they?
I'll have the
I mean,
pickles.
I don't know why they
I'll have
put
the
them
pickles.
in.
I won't eat the chicken, but I'll have send your pickles. Send your pickles my way. That'll be fine.
I'm trying to just scrolling down to find out how much that costs. That's a hot honey chicken sandwich, southern fried chicken sandwich with hot honey, pickles, and slaw on a brioche bun. No price next to it currently.
Ooh.
It will be in the app, but
Never trust the one with no price. That's it.
It looks. I mean, the hand.
That looks a reasonable
like
size.
a chunky. Yeah. That could be a shareable, I think, possibly.
Yeah, I think so.
Now, the yacht. What I want to call yacht rock. What's it called? The yacht. This is a new yacht grub, and it's got me thinking of like yacht rock music. I'm back in Key West and listening to all of the chilled yacht rock stuff. They have got a trio of dips. So I am not sure about this at all. This is a trio of dips. There's a caramelized onion dip, a whipped feta dip, and a pimento cheese with house-made potato chips and caviar. So I was good until the caviar moment.
I was going to say, you were going well until the caviar, but
I mean, I would go the whipped feta or the pimento cheese. That'd be great. Onion, absolutely not. I don't want that. And the potato chips, I don't know what's on them because they're clearly not just salted. They've got something on them. They might be like the paprika ones that you get at Dahlia Lounge.
Yeah, you could be right.
Yeah,
they are good.
The hot honey chicken was $13.19.
Okay, is that with fries
Comes
or
with
just
a side.
on its own? Okay, that's not a bad price actually for the size of that. So the trio of dips comes in at $6.50, which I think
that sounds a lot for a dip. But
it's three of them. It's not just one. There's three, Ben. And you've got
you're probably paying for the caviar.
Well, that's what I'm just thinking. What was the point of putting caviar on it? Just for the sake of putting caviar on it. Who likes caviar?
Do you think it's just to say that we've put caviar in the menu somewhere? It's like a.
I just don't. I just find it completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
But that's a me thing.
I just have the pimento cheese.
The pimento cheese, but see, I want it to be as good as the pimento cheese dip that you get at the Boathouse.
Ooh, okay. Yeah.
See, they don't need to stick caviar on the top of it because it's so good. And that makes me worried that maybe the pimento cheese dip is a bit dodge and they put the caviar on it to try and distract from the fact that it's not actually that good. I don't know. I have to try to find out and I'll scrape the caviar off.
I must admit that whole stop off point there was it yacht grub.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like some of the stuff seems overly fussy.
This is it. So they've got a I've got a picture of their whole offering, but I wanted to just show their cheese, artisanal cheeses, people.
Yeah.
The artisanal cheese, it comes
Yeah.
on a wood. I quite like the fact it's on a wooden. I mean, it does look like something we made in DT at school.
It does look like a school project.
So I've done a school on an 11-year-old school project, which is, you know, it's quite nicely round. You cut with a jigsaw, but you know, that's going to absorb all the stuff. You're not going to want. I mean, you could keep it as a little free souvenir, but
I don't think it's dishwasher safe.
Probably not. And like the honey and stuff. Can you imagine how? No. But the yacht grub. This was their total offering. So they've got they've got the cheese plate. They've got the trio dips. They've also got a meat assort. They called it a meat assorti. It's got a meat plate which has got bresaola, prosciutto, salami with baby arugula, so rocket for us, pickled mustard seeds, not necessary, tomato jam, truffle oil, so you're going to smell the booth from a mile away, and grilled ciabatta.
I'm not sure.
I could do, you know, do the bresaola, the prosciutto, do the salami, and some grilled ciabatta. You know, you don't, the tomato jam, if you really have to, you don't need the truffle oil and all that rubbish.
Yeah, it seems a bit odd, doesn't it?
It's going to stink. And the smell of truffle sometimes is just obnoxious, isn't it? And they do a sparkling cocktail flight as well, which is so each of those, the trio of dips I said was $6.50. The meat is only $6.75. And actually, I don't think that's bad considering what you're getting on the plate. And the cheese is $6.50 as well.
It's not terrible.
They do a sparkling cocktail flight, which is those 3 drinks across the back, which is an elderflower sparkling cocktail, a lemon sparkling cocktail, and an orange sparkling cocktail. So basically, they're all the same. With like the orange one is sparkling wine and is Aperol, so it's an Aperol spritz. And the lemon one is a limoncello spritz, and the other one is an elderflower spritz. So it's all the same thing, basically, just a different flavour. And the flight comes in at $14.50.
Okay.
Yeah, I can get that.
You know, it's how much you're going to pay at Epcot, isn't it? In the festival.
I'm with Wendy. I'll just do the flight.
I'm totally with Wendy. That's it. Let's just go for the beverages. That's it.
Yeah.
So one of the other things which is really synonymous with Flower and Garden, which I loved when I tried it the first time, and it's Hanami in Japan. We've got frushi back, people.
Ooh.
I love the frushi.
Oh wow!
Have you had it, Ben?
No. So
it's like it's almost like a cold. The rice is like a rice pudding. It's made with sweet coconut milk, and then it's wrapped in a layer. It's got like mango and pineapple in the middle, and it's wrapped in a piece of fruit. And so you've got this 4 pieces of fruit sushi. And it's in like a soy wrap, and it's covered with toasted coconut, and then a squirt of what we would call squirty cream, which is unbelievably sweet. It's like, it says coconut cream sauce. It's like rot your teeth sweet sauce. I tend to scrape that off and throw it in the bin. But I think the frushi's, it's fun. The kids absolutely love it. It's fun, you know. It's just, and it's quite filling actually.
Yeah.
Like Hannah's saying it wasn't great. It depends. I think it probably depends how freshly it's been made. If it's been sitting out for a while, it might be a bit dried up around the edges. But it is quite refreshing. I think it's quite. But the other thing they've done this year is the steam bun, which in the last few years has been like a chicken teriyaki bun.
Yeah.
This year, excitingly, they have changed it to a vegan version. So it is now a steam bun filled with savoury vegetables and plant-based soy meat. So that's coming in at $8.50. So that will be slightly different in terms of open to different people. So I think previously it's been a chicken one. They've also got the I still don't understand the cold ramen cup. So the ramen noodle in a cup with vegetables and grilled chicken in a yuzu soy vinaigrette and chili oil, and it's cold.
Ooh, okay, yeah.
It's in like a plastic to-go cup, and then you're meant to like shake it all up and then just eat it from there.
I was going to say just warm up in the Florida sun.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's not
No.
doing.
I know people love it. This is like the 4th year they've had it, and they've had a similar version of it at the Food and Wine, and people go mad for it. And I just don't understand the idea of eating cold noodles.
I've never had it, so it's not something expecting it to be warm and then getting something cold. That's disappointing.
It's always disappointing. But my top pick, and I think this has been consistent for the last 2 or 3 years, is going to be the Tangerine Cafe. And I think they do this stuff so well. They have got this flatbread at Tangerine Cafe, which is I'm just finding exactly what's on it. I don't want to mislead you in terms of what's on it.
So it looks delicious.
Bear with. It is a Mediterranean flatbread with chermoula, roasted vegetables, artichoke, olives, and feta. And I think it looks awesome and quite big as well. It's quite filling.
It does look a nice size.
They also have the orange blossom saffron cake, which is the bright orange thing you see at the front, which has been lots of people today saying is beautiful and very tasty. They have got a grilled kebab. I didn't put a picture of that up because it just looks a bit rubbish, to be honest with you. It's a cheese kebab with some drizzle on it. It doesn't look great. Use your imagination. But drinks wise, they have a hard cider flight, which is what you see in the back there.
Wow,
now we are talking. Right, so hard cider flight, going to be refreshing in the sun, and definitely one to try. So that little meal that you see there might be my dinner in a few weeks' time. It looks fantastic.
That looks lovely, yeah. I like
it
really does.
I like look at that. Something that I thought looked truly appalling. There was 2 things that I thought looked dodge as anything. One is this.
Oh,
right.
That's difficult to describe anyone on the podcast, but yeah.
So this is
it's difficult to describe politely for anyone on the podcast. So I'm not going to actually try.
So this is from the Farmer's Feast in the springtime menu, which is so their Farmer's Feast is the booth that has different menus at different times. So they have an early bloom menu, and I was trying to find a photo of the grilled asparagus with pancetta bacon, spring peas, frise lettuce, truffle sherry vinaigrette, and soft poached egg. That sounds quite nice.
Yeah.
And then the springtime menu, which is April 6th through May 3rd, which is when I'll be there. This is the seared pork tenderloin with corn risotto featuring Ben's Original International Grains, arborea rice. It's in capital letters, so you have to shout it. And roasted red pepper sauce. Now, I'm sorry, that looks awful. That looks like slop on a plate with some very, very dried meat stuck on the top.
I thought that looked like scrambled eggs with like ketchup.
Yeah.
It doesn't. To describe it, if anyone listens to the podcast, it looks like it's a bed of ketchup with some scrambled egg on top and some
really dried, overcooked meat stuck on the top that's going to get stuck in your teeth.
Do you know something? That's a beautiful way of describing it, Ben. I was really down the lines of if you're a dog owner, you've probably picked up worse than that. I think
wow.
It just doesn't look right. It just doesn't look right. It just doesn't even look appetizing.
Texture-wise, I just don't get it. Whereas on that menu, they also have like grilled peaches with burrata and prosciutto and lettuce, micromint, and sweet tea lemon gastrique, which sounds great. Where's the photo of that? We need someone who's there at the moment. Maybe they can get a photo of that because that sounds good.
I'm going to ask you guys a question because actually this for me could be a really intriguing way if anyone's going out there. So, how do you know? Is it are you getting these photos online before you go and deciding what you're doing, or is there any evidence before you actually go and buy it?
You can eyeball what people are eating.
Yeah, I know at the food and wine last year. It's always a case that you start walking around and you spot what someone. Oh, I like that.
Yep.
And actually, one of the best things about that is if you spot someone, stop them and ask them, whereabouts did you get that?
Would you buy another one?
Yeah,
the
people are absolutely brilliant. We've all got it's that shared sort of desire of
a community of
it's
making
okay.
sure that
Yeah. Well, I'll look after you. If it's not any good, I'll tell you, and if it is good, I'll also tell you. But
We always used to plan a list, so we'd always have a list of different snacks, different what
Right.
our plan would be.
Okay.
But then the problem is, like Claire said, for some of the festivals, by the time that they've come out, they may have changed to a different menu further into the festival. So it's
and they
knowing
never
what
look
ones.
like the pictures. It's a bit like buying something in McDonald's. It never looks like the thing you think you're going to buy. And the way it's, it's thrown onto the plate in the back of the booth. But the other thing that I thought looked not as appetizing as I expected, and I think it's the pallor of the chips, the fries. This is the Provence poutine, which is at the refreshment port. And this is, I thought it was going to look better than this because I read it and I was like, oh, that sounds really nice. It's herb de Provence seasoned fries, goat brie, lavender honey, hazelnut croquant, and fresh lavender. And I was like, oh, that sounds ever so fancy.
I feel like that cheese.
It looks ever so dry.
I
mean, there's lumps of cheese on some dry chips with some lavender thrown on the top.
And I think the problem is that those chips don't look hot. So the cheese isn't melting in any way. So it doesn't look as appetizing. If it has some melted cheese.
You're really selling this to me, guys.
Yeah. Oh, I'm thinking like some nice Provence cheesy chips. That sounds great. That does not look like good cheesy chips. The other thing they've got down at the refreshment port, which I actually had a couple of years ago, and I am definitely going to get again, is the bear with me. It is the other poutine, which is the impossible chicken, the fake chicken. I'm just trying to find it in my list of things. It's the where's it gone? To me, talk about something else. It's the one which has got buffalo chicken on potato barrels, and it's really, really good. It's the fake buffalo chicken that they have at Food and Wine, in the inside with the Muppet bit. They have that as for poutine as well, which is excellent. It's really, really good. So I will be getting that again this year because I had that as a dinner option one night. And it was fantastic.
So, Claire, how many times are you planning on visiting the festival on your trip? Is it just
twice? I think I think we're going to go twice. So for the day that we arrive, I think we're going to go to Epcot in the evening. Yeah. We land at like 3 p.m. So by the time we've got our bags and stuff, Terminal C, it's going to be like 6. And then we'll go to the hotel, drops everything off, and then I think we'll go over to Epcot that evening. And then we've got another full day in Epcot. And it may be that we'll pop over there one evening. Like the day we're meant to be in Animal Kingdom. I'm not entirely sure. We haven't really got a plan.
You've got a loose plan.
Well,
you've got an idea of what you want to do.
I've booked park reservations because I've got an annual pass, so I'm kind of going to do that bit. But I can change it if I need to. So but definitely at least a day and a half. I would have thought in Epcot, just because there's so much to see. That's the thing. You can't fit it all in one go.
And I think that's because with every festival that we've been to before, we can never fit in what you want to do in the amount of days that you're there.
I know. I think I would rather spend an extra half day in Epcot enjoying things like the Garden Rocks concert, or looking at all the Topiaries and visiting all the things, rather than standing in a line for attractions at Hollywood Studios. But that's kind of my view. But I don't quite know what Morgan's going to want to do at the moment. So
but that's the joy as well, Claire, of actually having this trip planned, but also knowing you're going later in the year, so you can get those attractions in later in the year
in August when the crowds are down.
You won't have that ability to experience the flower and garden at that time. So again, it's balancing it out, isn't it? And I think I know we sort of speak fondly when we speak to either guests on the show or people in the chat who live locally, and you actually feel really quite jealous of the fact that they can just dip in and dip out.
I know.
And it
just think on an evening off after work, you just think, you know what? Let's go to the festival.
Yeah, it'd be nice. Lisa asked when I'm going to be there. I fly out on the 27th of April, Lisa. which if you happen to be there at the time, I believe is Dapper Day weekend, the 26th and 27th. So if we're not going to be there in time for doing Dapper Day, so Morgan will miss out on the Happy Dapper Day thing. But if you happen to be there that weekend, that is Dapper Day weekend in Walt Disney World. And we're there for 5 days, Lisa. And I fly back on the Friday night. So I guess we'll do some stuff and we'll see all sorts of different things. There is a special funnel cake, because I love funnel cake.
Oh, okay.
That's peaches and cream funnel cake, and that made me think about the Chick-fil-A peach milkshake that you can get in spring. That's always been a subject of much discussion. Peaches and cream I like, but not on the funnel cake.
No.
I can have the peaches and cream stuff. I don't want the funnel cake bit, because that's the bit I don't like. Oh, it's the peaches and cream I would quite like.
Yeah.
There's a peach cobbler at one of the stands as well. I can't remember which one, but yeah. So there's an awful lot of food.
Yeah.
And I think that, realistically, far more than anyone could probably eat in a day. I'm sure there's someone there today trying to do it all.
Yeah, we've been to I think Flower and Garden 3 times now, and the first time we did it, it was just like a last minute bit of a trip. We were there, so we just got the end of it. But last time we were there, loved it. There was so many good photo opportunities with the Topiaries. And yeah, I would have to go back.
Ben would be happy taking photos of bushes. Had to be done. Sorry, Ben.
It's waiting for that.
It's the always funny take.
Yeah.
I was going to say something else, and I'm not going to say it.
Oh,
I'm going to hold that one in, otherwise we're going to get cancelled. So in the chat, are you going to Flower and Garden? What are you most excited about? Seeing, eating, hearing, doing. If you want to go and share some pictures when you're there, do it in the Waffler's Arms. We'd love to have you share your pictures and your experiences. That is our online Facebook community where we.
And if anyone's in Magic Kingdom, if they can update us on more
pictures
of this lovely
flooring
floor.
news, right? We need the flooring information.
I think we do need that. I think that'd be cool.
That's particularly bad.
And I'm hoping to share a picture of that.
Yeah.
Anything
the
Star
sipper
Wars
is the one I like.
from...
I prefer the sipper to the thing.
At first glance, I thought the sipper looked like some sort of like needle.
Yeah, it does. It does look a bit like
something you find in hospital.
I don't know. It's like the Wegovy or Manjaro of the Disney World, catering for everyone. So one of the things at the end of the show that we've been doing the last few weeks is the missing word game. Anyone who's familiar with Have I Got News for You in the UK? This is something that we do. So tonight's missing word, and please join in the chat, is what has been added to Communical Hall for the festival?
Jim Shull. Get Jim Shull in there. He'd sort it out in half an hour.
I was going to say,
you'd have that place
new
sorted.
flooring.
a personality, perhaps.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what else could be.
A vending machine.
A vending machine, yeah. School children eating lunches. Hannah said some atmosphere.
Some atmosphere,
yes, atmosphere.
Definitely. So yeah, the answer something interesting. It could just be anything added to Communical Hall for the festival.
Yeah. Well, it would plus it immensely, wouldn't it?
Content added to Communical.
I've got to say, because I've actually seen the photo. When you look at the photograph and you think it's gone from being like a school canteen, and it basically changed itself into a village hall kind of scenario when they're doing some sort of
giant vegetables,
some sort of gardening sort of do and things like that.
It does look like a village show, doesn't it? It looks like
It's taken on that kind of
market stall added to Communical Hall.
Yeah,
absolutely. So the answer is flowers have been added to the Communical Hall. So I didn't get a photo of it, which is stupid. So they basically filled the entirety of Communical Hall with topiaries and flowers and loads and loads of displays, and there are graphics everywhere. It looks beautiful. Plus, they've added this entire story about how all of Flower and Garden is created. So there is stuff to see in there, which is different. So there will be people in there, and there will be something interesting. The atmosphere, I can't guarantee. I don't think.
Air conditioning is something they've always had, and it's always useful.
Yeah, it is always useful, but it's somewhere to actually that I might deliberately go rather than just cut through.
And I think the old Odyssey Pavilion, certainly for food and wine last year, was a really good stop-off point. Where you can actually just find a little bit of space and time within the park, either to get out of the rain or to find somewhere you just get a little bit of place to sort of settle and stuff. So there's now 2 places. So you don't need to be onto World Showcase. You can actually find somewhere where you can just sit and just watch the world go by. I think that's quite a nice thing to do.
Yeah,
they're trying to add something. Yeah,
they've listened, and I think it just opened earlier than planned, or it opened at a different time that they didn't have the stuff ready for the festival stuff to go in there. You have to have a building first to work out where you want to put stuff and sizes and measure that sort of side. I'm not giving Disney excuses, especially
work out what to do with it.
Yeah, we built this. We're not sure what we're going to use it for, but let's give it a year. Let's open it and see if we get any ideas. Maybe we had a suggestion box. What should we use this building for?
Disney suggestion box on the wall as you walk out. Yeah. Write your suggestions here.
There'll be one now saying like take ideas from Universal.
Yeah, Hannah's got it exactly. Seating area you get in shopping centres for tired dads and husbands to sit.
Yeah.
I've gone beyond that. I just got a pub around the corner. It makes it far more pleasant. Must have admit.
The man parking lot.
Yeah.
We've all seen it. I mean, I have to say the restrooms at Community Hall are very nice. They're very good, plentiful. So if you need to use them, they're all right. But that's been the best thing there so far. Hopefully, what they've added, and I think there's a merch shop in there, which has been the consistent thing for festivals for the last year. So, Flower and Garden looks fun. I'm really looking forward to experiencing it, and hopefully, may see some friends there. May not. I'm kind of excited to find out who's around. But yeah, so it started today. Where it's going to run. I didn't even check the dates until
I think it's the
June,
5th of June, first week of June.
Yeah, so a couple of months. We will be sharing as much content as we possibly can from experiences and visits. Ben, you and Becca are going to be going off to Disneyland, so you're going to be sharing some information from there. But for all of the stuff that we do and any of our contact and information, you can scan that QR code that's on the screen, and that will take you to all of our stuff and to our website. You can follow us on all our socials at GB Mickey Waffle. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and you will get notifications when anyone does anything exciting. And also you can find a podcast version of this show uploaded every Friday to your podcast provider of choice. You now don't need to select it. It will magically appear in your feed, which is brilliant. So if you haven't done that, subscribe to everything, and then you won't miss out on anything. Anything I've missed, Ben?
New episode out. We just recently recorded a show with Tom and Michelle from Hyperion Adventures podcast. It was we
had a show out on Saturday.
We
did. Yeah, we've got so many. Yeah.
So the show we had out last Saturday was all about choosing a villa.
Yes.
So if you've never stayed
without the pine kitchen,
right? If you've never stayed off-site in a villa or a rental property, that is a really good show. Actually,
it was really good.
And how much more expensive villas are the closer to Disney you are? So it's that sacrifice of like how much you spend on the villa. Is a villa worth it for you? And depends on the family trip you're doing. I know Becca and myself have looked into prices for a villa. We haven't yet booked one, but we've definitely prices.
That's
okay. Yeah. We've got a DVC point. It's once we're at a DVC point, then we go to a villa.
Now that leads us on nicely, because not only are we talking we're talking DVC next Wednesday as well.
Yes.
And also we didn't really go in deeply to DVC with Hyperion Adventures, but that was again that is a podcast to really look forward to mid-month, because actually the chat, it could have been a 3-hour classic. We did very well to just hone it in, and actually I'm pretty sure we'll be having them back as a guest later in the year, because actually it was such a lovely show, and we know that they actually always watch the catch up of this as well. So
amazing.
It's
Brilliant.
podcast focused on positivity.
Yeah.
With that, I love. So this is it. This is why we do this. Every Wednesday we are here, and it brightens our week. We hope it brightens your week. There's only 2 days till the weekend. Whoop, whoop. And
the sun's out, but not the minute. But...
Yeah. Well, no, it's dark here now, but it will be out for the next few days. It's a good time, and there's lots of positive stuff coming in the future from us. So we hope you can be here and share it with us. So there's one thing left to say, and it's been great to have you guys here tonight talking about all this stuff. And we will see you soon.
We'll see you real soon.
Now my wheels in motion and my